Yeah, call the meeting to order here. Our January meeting of the Iowa City Human Rights Commission. We'll start with roll call. Commissioner Harkin.
Here.
Kolash here. Kadura is absent. Abdullahi.
Here.
Priest, absent. Lusala.
Here.
Paul Shantz.
Here.
Mendes Shannon.
Here.
And our new commissioner, we will introduce in just a moment. But first, we have the reading of the Native American land acknowledgements, while we're still legally permitted to do so. Any volunteers?
Sure.
All right, thank you.
We meet today in the community of Iowa City, which now occupies the homelands of Native American nations to whom we owe our commitment and dedication. The area of Iowa City was within the homelands of Iowa, Meskwaki, and Sauk, and because history is complex and time goes far back beyond memory, we also acknowledge the ancient connections to many other indigenous peoples here. The history of broken treaties and forced removal that dispossessed indigenous peoples of their homelands was and is an act of colonization and genocide that we cannot erase. We implore the Iowa City community to commit to understanding and addressing these injustices as we work towards equity, restoration, and reparations.
All right, thank you very much. Agenda item 3, farewell to our outgoing commissioner, John V. Pandya. I have a little acknowledgement here for you, so if you'd like to come up and receive this. John V., just on behalf of the Iowa City Human Rights Commission, we want to thank you for your service, your thoughtful participation and dedication to this commission have been an inspiration, I know, to me, and I think to most of us here on this commission. And I'll open it up if any other commissioners would like to say anything as well.
I would actually like to give a big thank you to Commissioner Pandya, because if it wasn't for meeting her, I actually wouldn't be in this position. She's the one that introduced me to the Human Rights Commission and what the Human Rights Commission does, and so I just wanted to give you a good thank you. Of course.
I now only like to thank you for your contribution to the HRC. I also like to thank you for your contribution to the community, especially the immigrant community, and the work that you have done with your work affiliated with the university and your degree, and the way you speak of the work you do, the passion that you show, it's just inspiring. And I hope that wherever you go with your next internship, you carry that passion with you and you share that light with the work that you do, because it is so needed. Speaking of mental health in the immigrant community, it does exist, and sometimes we don't talk about it, and sometimes we don't address it, and we try to suppress that. So you talking about it, and it's just so important that the work that you have done, and especially the immigrant community, those that do not have the papers, those that cannot go to the hospital to seek that help, and you reaching out to them, it has been very inspiring. So I want to thank you for your contribution.
John V., I will add by saying that it's just, there are no words to capture your impact, your intelligence, your kindness, the impact that you can make on ideas and shaping. Your research speaks for itself, but I think the way that you are using your research and the way that you're connecting with people in practice too is really, truly inspiring. So I look forward to watching where you go with your career, where you go with your impact. Thank you so much, as others have said, for bringing your talents to the commission, but also for bringing them to this community and for all that's ahead of you next too. Thank you so much.
And also I want to say a thank you for your light, for your passion, especially now in our times. It means a lot, and it means everything to a lot of folks. So we will miss you.
I think the best part of being on the commission is to be around you, right? That's the biggest reward. So grateful that I got to every one of you. I hope to stay in touch.
and keep singing. Thank you.
And as we bid farewell to Commissioner Pandya, we tonight welcome our newest commissioner, Commissioner Lubna Mohammed. And I believe they're joining us via Zoom. And I'll go ahead and please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background and what you're looking forward to bringing to the commission.
I believe she mentioned that the meeting was frozen.
Oh, is the meeting frozen? Oh, no.
Oh.
Let's try this. I don't think it's frozen. I think it could be. Can you hear us now?
Yes, thank you.
Hold on, though. You're coming through on my end and not where you should. So let me. Hello? Can you hear me?
The microphone was, the previously selected one was the right one. The first one.
Even though it wasn't. Hello? See, that's what it says when I go back
Yeah,
to that.
I think the speaker,
Can you hear us?
I would say the first one, this one was right. But for the speaker, you could select any one of those three.
Hello?
I can't hear you.
Perfect.
Hey, there we go.
See, you can't leave now. We got to make you an honorary 10th member. Yeah.
We can't let her go.
Lubna, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Lubna Mohammed. I live in Iowa City. I'm going now to 13 years in March. I came from Richmond, Virginia. I have 4 kids, 3 grown up, and I have 12 years old. She just turned last Friday, on the 17th. I work as a substitute, para substitute with the Iowa City District School for 13 years. And I work also Arabic interpreter with a company in Cedar Rapids. And I'm glad, I joined the Human Rights Commission because I love to help people and my community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I think we customarily will go down and have everyone kind of just briefly introduce ourselves as well and welcome Commissioner Mohammed. So we'll start on this end.
Thank you.
Of course. So, my name is Idris Abdullahi. I work for the Multicultural Development Center of Iowa as a program director and as a business coach. So we provide services to marginalized and underprivileged communities and entrepreneurs who were wanting to start up their own small businesses. I also run a recycling company working on making recycling more efficient, and I am also a student at the University of Iowa.
Well, hi, Lubna. It's nice to meet you virtually. I look forward to the chance to meet you in person someday soon. My name's Kelsey Paul Shantz, and I have been on the Human Rights Commission for a few years now, and I've been living in Iowa City for about 7 years, returning back to Iowa. It's a pleasure to meet all the different kinds of communities that we have here, but in my day job, I work primarily outside of the state of Iowa on how we can better reduce and prevent mass violence and atrocities around the globe. So, nice to meet you.
Hi, Lubna. My name is Doug Kolash. I grew up in Iowa, graduated from the University of Iowa. I've moved back to Iowa City from Wisconsin about 5 years ago, and have been on the commission for about as long as Kelsey. Yeah. My day job, I work as a healthcare software consultant. I am the president of the University of Iowa LGBTQ Alumni Network. I've 2 kids who go to Iowa City West High School, and yeah, welcome to the commission.
Welcome, Commissioner Mohammed. My name is Roger Lusala. I've been in the commission. This is my 2nd term. I've been living in Iowa City for almost 30 years. I am a native of the Democratic Republic of Congo, came here for higher education through California, and then came to Iowa for graduate school, and I've been here since. My day job, I work for the state of Iowa in the health and human services in the family well-being area. And for fun, I coach soccer. I'm the coach of the Southeast boys and girls soccer team, and also love doing that for fun as well. So welcome to the commission.
Hi, my name is Emily. It's nice to see you again. I just joined the commission very recently after I graduated from the University of Iowa in May 2024. In my day job, I work to help Iowans access their legal rights, primarily in fair housing, farm worker rights, and then with older Iowans.
Hi, I'm Liz. Welcome as well. I was born in Ecuador, South America. I grew up on the East Coast in New York, and I came to school here at the University of Iowa in social work. The first one in my family to finish high school, college, get my master's, and get a doctorate. So sometimes I go, Dr. Liz. My work is around what is now termed illegal DEI, and we've reevaluated, and we're doing access, opportunity, and diversity. My passion is around creating a more welcoming environment to support all. I also have twins. They're teenagers. And they're the reason why I have my gray hair, just kidding. But they have opened the world in many ways that I was not aware it could be possible. And some of my passions are around resiliency within undocumented immigrants.
Thank you. Welcome, Commissioner Mohammed. We look forward to working with you. Item number 5 on the agenda, approval of the November 26, 2024 meeting minutes, which include all of our notes from the RESJ grant review. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to review those. Any discussion? Otherwise, we have a motion to approve.
So move.
A second.
Second. All right. Move to approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, minutes approved. Item number 6, public comment of items not on the agenda. Commentators shall address the commission for no more than 5 minutes, and commissioners shall not engage in discussion with the public concerning said items. Do we have anyone wishing to make public comment this evening? Okay. Then moving on to item 7, update on outreach and engagement by the police department.
Hello, everybody. How are we?
Hi.
Good. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. I know it's been a minute since I've been here.
Yeah.
I, by day, I'm Trey Hall, Community Outreach for the Iowa City Police Department. I guess I should make that clear. By day, I do community outreach. By night, I actually drive paratransit for Johnson County seats. So I've been busy with that. Haven't made a lot of these meetings. And then Eric, my supervisor, has 3 kids, so he's been having a hard time making the meetings as well. But I decided to not drive today so that I could come to this and get you guys up to speed with what we've been doing the last month. So I have a couple of things that we've done this month, and then I have a couple of things that we'll be doing here within the next 30-ish days throughout February as well, so that way you guys know what we're doing. On the 6th of January, we went to Lionheart Early Learning, which is on the, I guess it would be west side of Iowa City, off of Dodge, and I can't remember what it is, but it's just to the north of North Dutch Coffee, or where North Dutch Coffee was, I suppose. And we read to them, gave them a squad tour, handed out stickers, those type of fun things that we did with them. And then the 15th and the 21st, we gave a scam and fraud presentation at Lansing and Featherstone, respectively, for the dates. The 15th, we gave it to Lansing. They have a grieving period or a grieving group, and we gave to them. It was a couple of older people, so that way they're up to date with kind of the scams and frauds that are going on right now. And then Featherstone is a retirement over by Regina. It's like directly behind Regina. And we gave a presentation to them as well. And then on Martin Luther King Day, myself and Sergeant Nealand did the parade or the procession from what is the older mall on
Eastdale.
Eastdale, yep, Eastdale, and then through there to the rec center, and then we stayed for the entirety of the Martin Luther King Day services at Mercer, which was excellent. If you guys, I think I might have seen someone there, but we were there. And then upcoming, we have another squad tour / reading at Regina on the 30th, so next week. And then we are also going to Melrose Meadows to just have coffee and kind of talk with the residents that are there. They're not really sure if they want to have a whole presentation on scams and fraud, so we're just going to go there and break the ice. On February 26th, we are going up to Cedar Falls area for a career fair at Hawkeye Community College to give just kind of an overview of what they can expect from the police department, kind of drive up recruiting. I know that towards the end of February, they're doing a batch of recruits or interviewing for them. So maybe get a little bit of interest there. And then I'm also on the board of directors for Big Brothers Big Sisters. And on the 22nd, they have Bowl for Kids' Sake, the 28th as well, and then March 2nd. If you have any questions on those, you can email me. But Bowl for Kids' Sake is a good way to kind of drum up community support for everybody that's in Johnson County. So that's all I've got for you guys. You guys have any questions? No?
Yeah, Trey, what kind of outreach is the Iowa City Police Department doing to our immigrant communities to
Yes.
help them know their rights and know,
Sure.
For any
Yeah.
anticipated?
That is a great question. Joshua Busu is my counterpart. He specifies with immigrant and refugee communities. That's his entire position. He does that for that part of the community. And I know that there is I should have had my work phone on me, but he has a actual program that he's running in February, which is a talking between, I think it's Captain Brotherton and other members of the community that are immigrants and refugees to have, more building and rapport with given what's going on right now. So that way people know that they can still call us and they can still rely on us, and, all of those fears that are going on right now can have questions answered.
No, go ahead, Dr. Liss.
Would you be willing to speak with, is it Josh or Joshua? We're trying to create a Know Your Rights panel with the community.
Yeah.
Would that be a possibility?
Yes. I can also give you his email if you'd like, so that way you guys can have a follow-up with him, but I will definitely do that. I'll have him probably reach out to Stephanie so that way he can get everything coordinated and then give you guys, but I can give you his email as well if you'd like. You ready for it?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. So his email Give me a thumbs up or when you're ready for it. Perfect. It is J as in John, D David, A Apple, B Boy, U Union, S Sam, U Union, at Iowa, IOWA, then a dash or a hyphen, city, CITY, .org. Again, his first name is Joshua. Any other questions?
Does the Iowa City Police Department have a standing policy, or has there been discussion about potential cooperation with Immigrations and Customs Enforcement?
So, as of right now, I know that the Iowa City Police Department takes all of our recommendations from the City Attorney's Office, as well as the Johnson County Attorney's Office. So that's where we get our direction from. And then if there's any follow-up questions from that, those questions should be given to the City Attorney's Office or Johnson County Attorney's Office.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Anybody else?
Good
Time
question.
to be here.
Thank you
Thank
so much, Trey. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Agenda item 8, correspondence. There's a section in our packet. It's a flyer from the Lens series on insubordination, Anna Julia Cooper and the Courageous Revolt Against Jim Crow Education in the Nation's Capital, Thursday, February 20th at noon. Read through that. Another event on Saturday, coming up this Saturday, the 1st of February, Tough Conversations About a Racial Divide and How We Can Begin to Heal at the Iowa City Public Library from 1 to 3. 3 authors presenting and leading a panel discussion.
The Houses into Home Youth Volunteer Academy guidebook and curriculum is what they did with their, one of the things they did with their racial equity funding.
Yeah.
So this is just a draft of that they wanted to share with the commission.
Okay.
All
So,
right,
you.
Great, thank you. That looks great. And then our other item of correspondence is from Commissioner Viana Kadura, who's not with us tonight, but it's a flyer for the World Hijab Day event, also on Saturday, the 1st, from noon to 3:30. I believe that's why she would not with us. She's accepting a proclamation for World Hijab Day from the Coralville City Council. So, all right. Is there anything else, Stephanie? Anything we missed?
nope, that is it.
Okay, thanks. Okay, agenda item 9, funding request from the Iowa City Foreign Relations Council. And this is also in the packet, I believe, right after the Houses into Homes. So it's a funding request from the Iowa City Foreign Relations Council for a program in April that is titled Fostering Climate Resilience Together. Requesting $250. So, and then page 33 of the packet has an itemized budget and a description, more detailed description of the event. So give you a second to read through that, and then the floor is open for comments or discussion. Thoughts or discussion? It's a panel of researchers as well as tribal communities, women farmland owners discussing climate resilience through a NOAA climate adaptations program that was been recently funded. The funding is mostly support for significant personnel time and effort, including staff time for producing and disseminating marketing materials, day of hosting, and support from interns to create a welcoming experience. Thoughts?
I guess something I really want to know is the program seems to be, focused on climate resilience. I guess I really want to know like how it directly relates to eliminating racial, religious, cultural, and other intergroup tensions. And if so, should we ask for more examples of that?
This meeting is being recorded.
Sorry. I did not expect that to be that loud.
I think it's a great question.
Yes.
I think it's great, always great to see you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Welcome back.
So great question. I think it's always great to see too what the Iowa City Foreign Relations Council is up to. So thanks for this request. I am left with questions of whether the NOAA program will still actually be funded given the last week's news and insights. So I wonder if we could just request more information from Peter and review this at our next meeting. One of the things is that it's always really helpful when we can see, beyond just general staff time where the money given is going towards. I know that staff time is just so critically important for organizations. So that's not to devalue it. It just helps us to understand too sometimes. So if there's any more information that we could have from that, that kind of itemizes the expenses for that day, that would be helpful. Not staff time, but beyond staff time, if there is anything. And so that's what I would propose for this. And given that it's happening in April, I hope that means that we might be able to get a little bit more information from Peter before it occurs and in time for their planning as well.
I agree. Great question. And yeah, I think seeing a little more information on a little more detailed breakdown on where the money will be used. And again, I hesitated to say anything because I don't want to devalue that. It does require time and effort to put these things together, but a little bit more to that. And then to your point, probably a little bit more information on how this ties to our work in human rights and the requirements laid out in the request form, right?
I would agree as well. I see the importance of the work they're doing. I want to see the connection. So.
Okay. All right, so motion to request more information and table the.
You can just table it. You don't even need to do a motion.
Okay, we'll just table it then. Great. All right. Yeah. I don't want to take on too much executive power, Stephanie. All right, then moving on to agenda item 10. Discussion on changing the time of year when election of officers are held for the commission. Currently, our bylaws state that our officer elections are held in January of every year.
My question, is it a background?
That's what I was going to ask too. Is this a request coming from somewhere, or do we?
Well, at the strategic planning meeting, and I'm not sure which one, there was discussion about whether it was useful for the entire commission to vote on the chair and vice chair in January, because usually you have 3 new members who don't know anybody. So that's why it's on the agenda. It's just so, it was just following up on that discussion.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know one time we had both the chair and the vice chair left the commission in December. So, of course, it was important for us to vote for a new chair and vice chair in that January. So I guess that's what was in the bylaw. So I don't know if there was a need to change that. I don't know. I understand that, new members' terms usually starts in January, and sometimes they do not know the commissioner who they're voting for because, of course, sometimes we want a sense of continuity. We want somebody that's been in a commission for a while to kind of carry the group going forward. So, but I don't. Can we change the bylaw? Do we have?
Yeah, you can. You can. If you would need to do it at your next meeting, you couldn't do it at this one, but or at a future meeting, I should say. But yeah, you can. It just says can be amended by any regular commission meeting by a majority vote, provided that the amendment has been submitted in writing to the commission 3 days prior to the meeting at which it is to be acted upon, and such amendment is not in conflict with the human rights ordinance. So, yep, you can.
Stephanie, would you mind reminding me now with our calendar year and the structure of our year when we begin the racial equity and social justice grant reviews under our new timeframe?
So they are set for March 1st to be released.
Okay, and that will occur year over year, or is that just the exception this year?
I think I was originally going to schedule it for February, but then I noticed that the climate action grants go live March 1st and go through April 1st, so I thought, why not just roll them out together and hopefully get them in front of council at the same time, and hopefully some of the concerns they have about organizations overlapping and always not being mindful of who's getting money from other sources from the city, it may just make it a little easier to put everything in front of the council at one time. So I guess it's not permanent. It can be changed in the future.
Okay, that's very helpful to know.
The climate grant go year after year with that calendar?
Well, they're both on the July 1st to June 30th.
Okay.
So we're still in FY '25.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it might be obvious. I was asking just to understand too, like when we're setting our timing of when we elect our chair and vice chair, understanding too maybe how that relates to the first kind of big part of our meeting year with reviewing the racial equity and social justice grants is helpful. But I think we can still make the best choice. So, Roger, did you have like a proposed idea or in your reflections about an alternative to January, or is there an alternative to January that?
No, I didn't. This wasn't even my discussion item. That's what I was asking. Was it content why we had this in the agenda? So yeah, no, I didn't. I just remember that one year we had both chair and vice chair exiting in December. So I think we just had Stephanie run the first part of the meeting until we elected a new chair, then they took over. So I don't think it was a big deal. So I was just surprised to see that in the agenda. That's what I was asking, if there was a reason why we had that as part of the agenda. So
I think if there's any adjustment, it might be just moving it to the February meeting. But on value, I think what I really like in the new strategic plan is there's a lot of emphasis on shared ownership and shared leadership of the Human Rights Commission. And so in that context, if we understand that for the chair and the vice chair, like these really are roles that help to keep the commission moving, represent the commission, and have roles and responsibilities within that, especially with the agenda. However, that we all have a collective leadership there too. I think leaning into that will be really beneficial. I think leaning into as well where every human rights commissioner is welcome to speak up, welcome to suggest things for the agenda, welcome to suggest and lead activities with the community on behalf of the commission. That feels in line to me with our goals and our agenda. And it may not be that we need to adjust elections, but I would really defer to those who have more recently joined the commission because you have a more recent experience of the if it's challenging. It can be quite strange sometimes to just your first meeting arrive and be faced with
Election.
a popular vote in front of you.
I mean, I agree with the possibility of moving it to February. I don't think keeping it at January is necessarily a bad thing either, especially with the going over the social justice and racial equity grant in March. Unless that changes to going back to February, which would cause problems again. It does feel odd to like vote for people that you do not know, but I don't know the process of voting either, to be quite frank. I don't know if there's speeches or how that process even works. So
Yeah, no, if there are not.
what is that process?
It's not a popular vote.
Okay. I don't know what it is.
I believe there's certain criteria.
It's someone says, "Hey, I think Roger should be chair," and everyone goes, "Yeah," and that's pretty much how it happened when that instance that he's describing, where we came into January with both the chair and vice chair out.
Yes, I believe I was a new commissioner in December, and then there was quick turnaround time to vote. So it was a surprise. I was like, oh yeah. And so I just, I didn't know anyone yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's like what Kelsey said, we all come into the commission, we all share that leadership role, we all share that workload. So I don't think we come into coming into as a chair position as you are the man to do this. No, we're sharing that load. I think those are leadership position in as you are helping craft the agenda, but it doesn't negate the fact that if you have something important you'd like to get it on the agenda, you can reach out to Stephanie or to the chair saying, hey, can we put this on the agenda? So it's not like you, the chair,
Mark has done that several
Yes.
times already this year, so yeah, or last year, yeah.
You don't get 2 votes or anything like that. So we all come into this. We all have, leadership role in the community. We all have busy work. So we come in here. We share the responsibility of this commission. So that's what I don't see it as yes, you get to, facilitate the meeting and keep us on track and get us out of here on time. So we're not leaving here at 9 p.m. So, that's why I don't see moving it as a.
Yeah, I understand where the discussion is coming from, but I don't think it is
Necessary?
a necessary move at this point. I think we're fine in January the way it is.
I can support that too. I think I would just encourage then, right now, the onus on new Human Rights Commission members is on the new members to reach out to us, to foster connection and just to know who we are. And so as long as there's commitment to reach out in that December turnover when there's holiday seasons as well too, I think it's good. I'd also be open to we're trying a lot of new things with this strategic plan, just moving it to February as an experiment, frankly, and just seeing, does that give us a chance to connect with one another? Maybe we have a meeting where there's kind of a lapse in leadership in January. Maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't. We never know, right? But just putting it on the table that I would be open to that if we wanted to consider that. But if there's more consensus on leaving it the same, that's fine, totally fine.
I totally agree. We can say this year we're going to vote for new leadership in February. We don't have to go and change the bylaw. We can just skip this January and do it in February and see what happens. So we don't actually have to go and change the whole bylaw. So we can just table it and give Doug 1 more month. You're doing just fine.
Well, I know it's not on the agenda tonight anyway.
It's not on the agenda tonight anyway.
I just, yeah.
So either way, we are in February anyway.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So maybe this year is our experiment year.
Yes.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
So we'll have it in February agenda.
Violation of our bylaws, but, okay.
What do you want us to?
Legal, Doug.
Do you want us?
Legal chair.
Do you want us to vote on it, Doug?
Legal chair, no, it's fine. I'm just, okay. All right. Okay, item 11, approval of our 2024 strategic plan. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to read through this. It is in the page, well, it actually begins page 38 of the packet.
Can I just ask a question for clarification? I noticed that the page numbers skip a little bit. Can I just check that we have the whole thing in this packet? I think it's just a page number issue. I think it's all here, but it goes from, yeah. So we start the executives, yeah, we skip, yep. So I think it's great where it's, well, the executive summary starts on page 6.
We're missing 8
We
and
go to
10.
7, and then 8 and 10. I don't think we need the context in the process. I think that's fine, but just want to check that we don't need 8 and 10.
So you have the ballot.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that happened, but,
So 8 and 10 are just blank.
Perfect.
Oh,
Great.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
So they are just blank. All right.
oh, okay.
Of course.
I was like, I do not know how that happened.
It saves paper. That's wonderful. That's great.
May I ask a question about the strat plan? I can't recall now if we also redesigned the mission.
If what?
If we redesigned the mission of the HR commission?
We have a mission.
Right, but
did-
did we talk about that in our retreat?
I don't think we
I could be
needed to.
blanking.
I don't think we needed to come up with a new mission
Okay,
because
I
we have
think
the
we
mission
used
that
it,
The-
but
the
it
mission's
wasn't
outlined
new.
in the city
Right,
code.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the mission is on the city code.
yeah,
So
yeah. Okay.
I like the shared responsibility
Yeah.
that we have through this year, and I still think that we're gonna have a work meeting where we're gonna define, oh, this is what we're gonna do and this is what we're gonna do. But I like the shared responsibility. It doesn't have to be these 2 people gonna do all the work or these 3 people gonna lead everything. So the shared responsibility, if we're gonna do this is how we're gonna share the work, so.
And that was one of the things unfortunately wasn't able to attend the retreat, but I did speak to Jennifer and kind of give input on that. And it was, one of the things that I said, was a priority was to, because I think we saw the prior strategic plans subcommittees
Yeah.
kind of wane in their effectiveness.
Yeah.
Because there was a very set, like, this is what this group is going to do, and
Yeah.
this is what this group is going to do. What I like about this and kind of what my vision that I was outlining to Jennifer that ended up in here, so I think whoever was at the retreat kind of aligned by some wonderful serendipity that this is more flexible. This is, we're going to group 2 or 3 commissioners together every quarter, and we're going to work on
It's specific.
whatever the commission thinks is important at that time.
Yes.
Right? It is not just, this or that. It is, what do we want to put together as our goals as a commission? And then how are we going, how can we work in smaller work groups where we can meet more freely and actually get things done to further those goals?
I actually had got a note for kind of following on top of that. So one of the things that caught my eye when I was going over the strategic plan was strengthening community engagement, or strengthening engagement overall. And I guess, and not really an idea, but more so something that could be considered would be establishing a committee based on specific community needs. So it can focus on relevant topics such as LGBTQ rights, racial equity, and/or disability access. And by rotating leadership within the subcommittees, us as commissioners can take ownership and build a relationship with specific community sectors.
I think that's really inspiring. I think especially because one of the challenges in how the subcommittees were set up before is that it was more about the audiences that would be a part of it rather than the change. And I think in today, what we need is to really be recognizing where are threats and discrimination and against, let's see, our purpose of the protection of fundamental rights and raising awareness and advocating for that and thinking about all of those corners of our current community and our future community as well that we can be advocates for and support the protection of rights for. So doing so not about audiences, but rather about, or even processes, but about all the steps that we'll take to get there. Doug, thanks for your comments too on like the flexibility and what I think with that too is a little bit having the opportunity for more responsiveness. So where I have seen, and one of the things that I shared with Jennifer is what's really been meaningful for me in this commission is when we've been able to be responsive to needs in our community, not because a subcommittee exists. Actually, I don't think that's ever happened for me within a subcommittee, but actually where there was a small coalition of people who saw a problem or a need in our community, could meet quickly, could work on solutions together or some advice, how we might advocate on that and promote that. So one thing, I mentioned that because, even as we're rotating, I think I'm really on board to experiment with this and, have each quarter rotating teams to lead programming efforts. And even so within that, still inviting us all to look and find those opportunities, capture them, name them, suggest them, and organize together.
I think even, the quarterly programming, I think was wishful thinking in a more calm environment, right? Where we can plan, let's do education on X topic here, right? What we're seeing now and what I'm, my thought of, the coming year, 2 years, et cetera, is there are concurrent groups working, right? There is a group working on, like you said, we're looking at, immigration rights. Mm-hmm. There's a group working on human rights around funding for HIV/AIDS. There's a group, and so it doesn't necessarily have to be, well, we can only do one thing a quarter. Yeah. It, I think that was a, I hate to use the term peacetime, but it does feel like we are at almost at a war for the protection of human rights. And that's, I think, the mentality that, and it might just be me after a day of reading the news too much, but, that's where I am. So.
Yeah.
Well, you are right, because for lack of a better term, we're not in a aim, shoot, steer mode anymore. I think it's more now shoot, steer, and right. Because
dodge and defend.
Dodge and defend, because we have to respond to our current situation and events. We're living in a different world. You can't plan a program that we're gonna present in 3 months, because we don't know what we'll be dealing with in 3 months. So we have to sometime react right now on what's happening in our world right now in the human rights arena. So that flexibility is going to be important, and we have to be able to be flexible that, hey, these two going to be working on this, and these two going to be working on this, and how can we come together to address these things? So flexibility is going to be important. And I can understand, the subcommittee that we had, because there was a sense of ownership when they created those and the work that was happening at the time. But the flexibility, it's going to be important, especially the work that we. And I'm with Kelsey, what she said, most of the important work, sometimes it is when there's a current event, how we get together, how we respond to it. It could be, right now there's current event happening with the raid and the immigration that as a human right, we're going to need to put a statement out. We're going to need to respond to those things. So, yeah, we might need 2 or 3 people to come together. The question we're asking our police officer, we got to talk to Josh and, what's going on in the refugee community? How's the police officer dealing with it? And how we going to have to respond and support our counterparts out there. So, as a human right, we got to have to address those.
I like the idea of the flexibility within the subcommittees, and I like changing it from quarterly to not quarterly, especially because we're seeing new policy come out every day.
Yep.
This raises a few questions for me. With these subcommittees forming, and I haven't been here for very long, but would these subcommittees form out of meetings, like these our general meetings? Okay. After discussion, that's what I thought. And then it also makes me, I hesitate a little bit, and maybe some further explanation would help, but it seems a little bit limited in the mission according to what our duties are stipulated as. It just mostly seems to be formulated around education, which is the majority of our duties, but education and programming, but I think there's a bit more in that. Not saying that it's a have to, but I think it allows for further.
Yeah. And I think as you're looking at that list of duties, number one, make recommendations to the city council for legislation on discrimination is something that we haven't really done a lot of. But I do know that we have a proposed legislation that I think Commissioner Priest is planning on adding to our February agenda. So there are options that, we haven't done much of in the past because it wasn't needed, or as much. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to make sure that we allow for it in the strategic plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
My only comment is I'm excited to see the different ways that we can elicit the feedback within the community. There's so much that's going on now, and I feel like our room and our Zoom does not represent what I would like and see from the community and hear what they identify as immediate needs. I know we're all in the community, but I'm just saying, I would love to see that, feedback and that constant understanding and that impact that we can have.
That's a great point, and I think one idea would be you to have sort of a hearing setup where we put on the agenda. The Human Rights Commission is tonight. We're going to address immigration in the immigrant community in Iowa City, and we invite people from those communities to come and speak, and and we can ask questions and get that feedback.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Would there be a way to also submit more anonymous, information to that meeting and the hearing? It could be read out in the hearing, but with many people being undocumented and increasingly worried and having recordings of their potential lived experiences out, that makes me a bit worried.
That's a great point. And, I think if that's something we discuss next meeting and we want to put it together, then, I think we look at avenues like that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's some planning, like interpretation and, other things like that.
Yeah, it was an example, but.
No, I love it. I love it.
and
We're rolling with it. We're rolling with it.
Let's start planning it then, and we'll put it on the agenda for February, yeah.
Well, and even in the education vein, I think there's also a lot of opportunities. So I completely agree. Policy change is where it's at, and protections are where it's at. But in the education vein, we do have this platform, and I think we can invite more people to be a part of that, and also invite more viewers to watch this. We can also make suggestions to City Council in terms of where there are groups who maybe have not had a voice yet, who would like to or just need some support, and even requesting space to present insights or challenges with City Council as well too. And I think and our representative from the police department earlier referenced this too, the coordination that can happen across the county as well. So making sure that we are attending those sessions that are, all of the legislative entities across our county coming together, because this is cross-city challenges in many cases that we're dealing with. So just thinking strategically, even in the educational vein as well.
Yes. Lubna, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, how are you? One of the commission, why I hear my voice? Okay, anyway, I'm gonna continue.
Are we able to mute ourselves while she's
Last week
speaking?
on the we received from the district school about the communication with Joshua, and he connected me with company from law enforcement. They are not going to have any information about the students as a student. But she said we need a sheriff office for question how these kids they're going to be, if they're get separated from the parents or any. Is my voice clear?
Yeah, you were cutting out quite a bit. Let's.
Yeah, because I hear my.
Oh.
Did you hear what I said, or?
I heard a bit. Does anyone?
You were kind of cutting off.
Yeah. Okay. Did anyone catch more? No. Okay.
Lubna, I'm so sorry. We weren't able to understand it.
I think your internet, for whatever reason, is cutting off like every fourth word that you
Yeah.
say. And I'm not sure.
I'm going to text you, Stephanie. I told you.
Maybe can you call in? Maybe that will help.
I call you your phone.
No, not my phone. Call the link that I sent you. Did it have that 319626 number on it for Zoom?
Oh, let me see. There is only link, no phone number.
Okay,
Would you mind trying again?
Yeah.
We might be able to hear you now.
Yeah,
that's true.
it's getting a little better. Go ahead and try again, Lubna.
Okay.
Repeat what you said.
If I did not hear my voice, still I hear my voice.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Do you
Are
think
you
you
able
can,
to
can you
send me
send me
that?
what? Yeah, it's like is it possible for you to send me
Can you
your
put,
thoughts?
Put it in the
and
chat.
then I
or
can
something?
read it or put it in the chat
Oh,
or something.
now-
That's a good idea,
now
the
I-
chat.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, try.
Okay. January 21st, we received from the district school email about the immigration thing, and they said all the information for the student are not going to release to anyone unless there is a legal requested. And I communicate with Joshua from the law enforcement, and he communicate with Captain Denise, and they talked to me on Wednesday. She said for the school, they're going to be sure that, again, hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Any question we have to communicate with the sheriff,
Yes.
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 because, legal requested may be like if one of the parents doesn't have any paper, like immigration, and there is a crime committed. The questions that came to me, I said, what about the student? If their parents, one of the parents, something happened. And she said, yeah, we have to talk to the sheriff office for all the questions about that, immigration things.
Yes.
Yes, that's
Yes.
the law.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Great. Yes. Thank you for sharing. That's good to know. That email was, interesting. Okay. Any other, and I gave an example and an idea and I got everyone excited, I'm sorry. But back to the strategic plan, any concerns, questions, anything you'd like to see changed, or are we ready to approve?
I like the strategic planning. I like the flexibility of it, and I like to give it a try and work on it and see how we do this year.
Were we wanting to keep the quarterly in there and then only the programming for Goal 2B? Or,
I think we can leave it as quarterly, just because that's the
just kind
wording,
of-
and we
Yeah.
can,
yeah, okay.
yeah.
I do hear your point, though, Emily, and I agree. I think, yeah, because I think the structure can work for us, but can also work against us at times, so. And I just wanted to add, there was a comment made, Roger, you had such a great point about being responsive, and the immediacy of that. And also, I would just add that for anybody who, is a student of history, but also experiencing this present moment, the requirement of capacity and intention to respond to challenges of human rights is also a distraction in and of itself from aims that are more long-term and build over time towards more reduction of fundamental rights and principles. So I think also having strategy that is aware of what's happening in our community, what's happening in our state, looking at how those things are adding up long-term and even in the medium term will also be important for groups like ours, too. So I would move to approve. Do we need a motion to approve?
We would like a motion, yes.
I will move to approve the 2024 strategic plan with thanks to Jennifer Horn for her efforts to create it.
I second that.
Okay, motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have a strategic
Aye.
plan. All right.
Thanks, Lubna.
Thanks, Linda. Okay, item 12, Racial Equity and Social Justice Grant Fiscal Year 25.
I kind of gave the update earlier, so the plan is for it to go live March 1st through April 1st. It will be an online submission, it will be an online review. I think just because of the time, I'm not sure if there will be an opportunity to do the informational sessions that you used to do, but I think when it's advertised, if people experience any complications, because I don't really think the questions change too much. It's more the way that it is filled out and submitted, even though last time it was online too, so it's not entirely different. But just direct them to staff and working through with staff to deal with any hiccups people may encounter, so.
All right, so March 1, April 1, and then we'll get those sometime in April?
Correct. And so there will be, we had talked about putting, limits in terms of like 500 words or less, and so was able to figure out how to do all of that, so that will be implemented too. So you should have more conformity amongst applications. They should all be pretty much the same length or shorter, but they definitely shouldn't be longer than one another.
Excellent.
What was the date it was supposed to go live again?
March 1st through April 1st.
Fantastic. Thank you, Stephanie, for all your work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it will be a learning curve, but we'll get through it, you know.
Make a difference
Yeah,
to have
right. I'm excited for the new process.
organization.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Item 13, save the dates. Night of 1,000 Dinners, March 6th. There's a flyer on the very last page of our
That
packet.
one, yeah, and I know last year, I think Kelsey went. I know there were some commissioners who attended, and so I wasn't sure if people are interested in attending this year. I'll send out a follow-up email, but if you could let me know by Tuesday, I believe it's February 18th, because I think President's Day is on the 17th, that Monday. So if people could just let me know if you're interested in attending that event, so I can get tickets for you.
Yeah, John V. and I attended it last year,
Okay,
and
I
I would
knew.
just say that it was actually an incredibly meaningful event, just to see the community groups that they recognize across Johnson County, and to all with the theme. I can't remember exactly last year's theme, but it was a great moment to just even connect with those who I might not have heard about their wonderful work previously, those who are receiving the awards in the Night of 1,000 Dinners, and being a part of that too. So I appreciate that the city provides a table that we can join. That's often with other city leaders, like our city council members. So for those that are interested, it's a great evening.
Great.
Okay. Our HRC Youth Awards will be May 21st.
And that application for nominations should be going live soon. We worked out all the kinks on the submission form and just really waiting for the graphics so that we can do the news release to start rolling it out.
Awesome. All right, the Iowa City Juneteenth celebration will be June 20th, followed by Iowa City Pride June 21st. So back to back again. We can do the table handoff. All right, that'll be great. All right, and our Human Rights Awards breakfast, October 22nd. Okay, so we can mark our calendars for all of those events. Item 14, staff and commission updates. Item includes an opportunity for brief updates from staff and commissioners. Commissioners shall not engage in discussion on updates. So, Stephanie, we'll start with you.
I handed out a sheet of paper that has everyone's contact information as how I have it. If I am incorrect in your information, if you could let me know this evening, that would be helpful. Once I hear from everyone, then I'll send out the PDF to everyone. So that's what that is for. And thank you, Commissioner Harkin. When she first joined, thought that would be helpful for her. And so I appreciate her asking us to put that together and sharing it with everyone. The other thing I want to show, and I think most of you maybe are signed up, I'm not for sure, but if you look at the screen, this is how you sign up to get information from the city. So I'm just going to walk through this for those of you who do not already subscribe. But you just go to this website, it's on the City of Iowa City page. It's at the bottom right-hand corner. It says subscribe. So you're just going to... Oh, goodness. It wants me to confirm. Okay. But I think in light of kind of the information that you were talking about and wanting to stay in the loop and stay up to date, this is, oh, come on. What do you think that's, a JCZL?
Yes.
Oh, look at that. Okay, and I'm already signed up for these, but as you can see, you can click as many of these as you want. So of course, I would encourage everybody to sign up for the Equity and Human Rights. And the general city news, if you want to know how the city's responding to anything, this is going to be the way to get that information if you want to keep up on transit, climate action, but this is really the best way to
Road closure.
to keep up to date. And then Office of Equity and Human Rights is not the same thing as signing up for the Human Rights Commission listserv. So if there's ever a meeting canceled that we know ahead of time, maybe there's bad weather or there's not going to be a quorum, just in case I'm not the person in the office, this would be your best way of keeping up to date on meeting statuses and programs. So that was just a really big pitch to get everybody to sign up for city services. But and you can do text or email, so it's really just your preference. But if you don't do that, I would just recommend that. And I think that's all I got.
Okay, all right. Updates from commissioners.
You want me to go first?
Sure, if you'd like.
Hi, everyone. I missed a meeting. I feel like I was gone for a long time. I did attend over the weekend Escucha Mi Voz. It was a workshop at a St. Patrick's. We had about over 200 attendants. It was very enlightening. It was know your rights to support some of the processes that are occurring with ICE raids and with adults and families. So it was very educational. But I was able to feel the power of hope with everyone that was there and the education. So yeah, it definitely inspired me to do more.
going to cut mine short because I do not have any updates. But yeah.
Sure, I'll go. Yeah, there's a lot happening in the news cycle and happening not just in news, but directly to groups. And so obviously I'm thinking in solidarity and thinking in action of what can be done to continue to foster human rights nationally and globally, and especially here in our communities. I might just share that over the weekend, I'm not sure if everyone saw the news, but in Muscatine in eastern Iowa, there was vandalism with hate-based speech and as a hate crime. And this is not the first instance of similar kinds of activity across our state or even in eastern Iowa. I think in November there were flyers that were handed out in Waterloo from a neo-Nazi group. I think we will continue to see those who would support and purport hate being further emboldened. And so as our community members, as we experience this and as we recognize community members who are targets of this, naming it, calling it out, participate in bystander intervention training as well. Those are all great strategies, and show up for our community members as all of us are facing these attacks of hate. So that's on my mind this week. Next month, for our February 24th meeting, I will unfortunately miss the meeting. I will be with a gathering of community and city leaders from across the African continent in Nairobi, focused on city-based opportunities and solutions to address challenges of violence in communities and with insights from across the globe. So I will be there, but I will miss you all for that meeting.
I think we've seen, we're all know the news in the, especially in the past 24, 48 hours even, has been disturbing. The executive order freezing payments and funding disbursement jeopardizes millions of people in our community, in our country, and across the globe. The PEPFAR program in Africa relies on a constant supply of medication. The disruption of funds to that could be a death sentence for millions of people in Africa. Missed payrolls, missed rent payments, there's going to be a lot of chaos and confusion depending on how long this freeze goes. Research on cancer, closing homeless shelters, food assistance, domestic violence assistance, suicide hotlines. The list goes on and on and on, and it impacts everybody in our country. In addition, closer to home, there's legislation coming, supported by the governor in Des Moines, to remove gender identity from the Iowa Civil Rights Act. This would, if passed, this would make Iowa the first state in the history of our country to remove rights from the Civil Rights Act in our state. So I don't believe it's been officially introduced yet, but with the governor's support, I'm sure once it is, it will move fast. One Iowa Action is the statewide group that organizes for LGBTQ rights and are already mobilizing against this hateful and just cruel legislation to remove an entire group of people from anti-discrimination protections. So I would encourage everyone to check out One Iowa Action. And I know we all are putting in the work, but it's recruit, and there's a lot of work to be done, and it's getting worse by the day. So, but like Commissioner Liz said, I think putting in that work can also give hope, and I'm really, really glad to hear that that event was inspiring as well. I saw it. I was unfortunately unable to attend, but yes. So those are my announcements tonight, and I think that the work of this commission, although always important, is carrying extra weight and will continue to do so in the near future.
I guess I want to say something. Federal. Do you hear me?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
The good thing, the judge, they blocked that order.
Yes, the judge did temporarily block the.
The freeze?
Yes.
Oh,
freeze.
okay.
A few
Okay,
hours
great.
ago,
So
A
Medicaid's
few
back
hours ago,
up, yeah.
okay. See, that's
right when we were starting.
right when we were starting. Okay,
Around there,
fantastic.
yeah.
Oh, great
Yeah.
news update. Thank you.
Although it's not permanent, it's temporary.
It's a temporary,
still
but-
gives us a chance to fight against it.
Good, good. All right. Thank you.
Honestly, people me earlier, they are freaked out. The people that they have like the food stamp and this stuff, they freaked out when they hear this news. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Roger?
Yes. First of all, I want to present a commission with the Martin Luther King proclamation that I accepted on behalf of the commission. Stephanie reached out to me to accept this. The significance of this, I accepted this on January 6th. January 6th was also significant because 4 years ago, January 6th was when for lack of a better word, the mob, people broke into the Capitol to try to prevent the certification of the vote. But on this past January 6th, we had the certification of the vote, and it was a peaceful one. And I was here accepting proclamation for Dr. King. And during the acceptance on behalf of the commission, I talk about 4 things that Dr. King also preached a lot, but most people never really talk much about. And I kind of wanted to share that with the commission. I talk about hope, because Dr. King always talks about we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. And Dr. King also talked about standing up for what's right, because Dr. King talked about the time is always right to do what's right. And that's what we always try to fight for here. Dr. King talked about silence, and in what we're going through in our nation right now, Dr. King said, in the end, we will remember not the word of our enemy, but the silence of our friends. So those are words, our friends, our immigrant friends, our undocumented immigrant friends are living in fear right now. So let's not stay in silence. Let's stand with them, and if we can do something, let's do something. And let's be kind, let's reach out, let's stand with them. And Dr. King also talked about faith. Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. So those are the things that I talk about with the council when I accepted this on behalf of the commission. So I'm going to share that. I'm going to give that to Stephanie later. And not only talking about Dr. King this month, but February is what we call Black History Month. We wish we didn't have Black History Month, because we all know Black history is American history. But until we can start teaching our kids about Black history in the classroom, we're going to keep talking about Black history, because we all know civil rights is the longest advocacy movement we have in our country, yet it's the least growing movement we have in our country, because we have so many other movements that has come and surpassed the civil rights movement because many people can identify with a lot of those movements. You know, we talk about disability movement. We talk about so many other movements. You know, I always give an example of disability movement. Everybody can identify with their nephew or nieces or cousin having a child that have some type of disability. And I talk about this with my friend. You know, we talk about LGBTQ movement. You know, it's a movement that I so support. Everybody now can identify with having a niece, a nephew, a cousin that having affiliation with the LGBTQ movement. But not everybody can identify having a niece, a cousin, an uncle who's black. So that's why the longest movement, the longest living movement, it's also the least growing movement because you have to identify sometime to be part of to push this movement. So as we are celebrating Black History Month, starting on the 1st of February, think about the things that how backward we're going, because we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now we're talking about access, opportunity, and diversity. Are we changing world because of what they are taking away, just so we can survive? So we are taking one step forward, 10 back. So it's important to keep doing the work that we're doing and fighting the fights that we so believe in. So thank you.
I'll go ahead with my update.
So,
In the few years that I've been on this earth, I haven't seen such a fast regression of human rights as I have in the past couple of days. And instead, I don't think it's a time to cower. I think it's a time to take action and be steadfast and know that the rights that that everyone is inherent to having is not just protected by governmental documents, but are inherent within each person. And I think that's a great privilege and ability that we can do on this commission. In addition, I attended an expungement clinic and helped with an expungement clinic this weekend, further removing barriers to employment and housing that many Iowans face. There will be some upcoming in the Iowa City and Cedar Rapids area. I will provide more information when those dates and places are set, probably within the spring months.
Thank you. All right. Lubna, well, you'll be off the hook tonight for your first meeting. All right. Thank you, everyone. Our next meeting is February 24th. It's our regular Tuesday, February 24th. And with that, does anyone have a motion to adjourn?
I'm sorry,
Or do you have something else?
I did want to mention that I will not be here also as well for the February 24th meeting.
February 24th.
I'll be out of town for a conference.
Okay. All right.
Have a good conference.
Depending on how many more, we might bump the vote back to March, because you won't actually have the grants in March or be accepting them, so your meeting wouldn't be delayed by grants or anything like that. So.
Okay.
Do you mean, is it Tuesday or is it Monday? Because
Did
Monday
I put
is
the wrong date?
Oh.
the 24th, and then the 25th looks like it's Tuesday.
Okay, so it's the 25th then?
The 25th.
That's the Tuesday?
Okay.
Thanks for catching that.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. I am planning on being here, but I'm flying back from New York that morning, so fingers crossed on flights going okay, and I'll be here, so.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, it depends on how many more we're gonna have, because, you know,
right, I mean,
because we gotta vote.
okay, all right. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
I second.
Thank you, Lubna.
All right. All in favor?
thank you.
We are adjourned.
I don't know.